Hello and welcome back to day 2 of this 10-day meditation series. So today we're going to be carrying on with the same theme from yesterday. We're going to be practicing mindfulness meditation, this very simple and basic technique for purifying, integrating the mind, where we are dealing with unconscious content that enters the conscious mind, whether it's cravings, aversions, thoughts, feelings, restlessness, sluggishness, letting it go, bringing the attention back to the breath. Very simple exercise. Now, in terms of where we focus our attention, I tend to focus on the sensation of the air going through my nostrils. Personally, I find this gives a very clear and precise spot to focus my attention on. However, there are many who prefer to focus on the rising and falling of the abdomen or the chest and the sensation associated with that. If you haven't found your preferred spot yet, I suggest just trying different things and seeing what works for you. So today we're going to leave a little bit more space for unguided practice. As per yesterday, I'm going to give a little bit of guidance at the start and I'll come back in towards the end. But really what we're trying to do here is get you up to speed, as it were, so give you the tools to go away and practice meditation on your own time. And what you'll find in doing this is that over time you really find what works for you. That is really the essence of practice. It's not something that any other person can just upload into your mind, right? This is really something that one has to go away and develop in their own space with a little guidance, sure, with a little coaching. But really, it's all in the practice. So the theme here again is just practice. So you can forget all of that now. Let's find our position. Taking a comfortable seated posture. Whether it's on a chair or the floor. And just resting your hands on the legs in whatever position feels comfortable. Keeping the spine straight. And just closing your eyes. Allowing the conditions of body and mind just to calm naturally. And just noticing whatever you happen to notice. Whether it's sounds, sensations, thoughts or feelings. Just bringing your attention to the breath. Notice whether the breaths are long or short. No need to control the breath, just receiving it with your attention. Whenever you notice the mind has wandered, just bring the attention back to that sensation of the breath. Now, for the rest of this session, we're going to set our intention to be still. Going to be still with the body. Allow the mind to become still naturally. And whenever you notice the mind has wandered, completely normal, just bring the attention back to the breath. So I'm going to be quiet now, and I'll come back in towards the end. just releasing the focus on the breath now. Just noticing whatever you happen to notice. Notice if the mind feels any different now from how it did before the meditation. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes again. Have a stretch if you need to. So well done for completing day 2. I added a little extra instruction there, which was to be still. This isn't something we have to remember to do necessarily. It's just a good practice to build into our meditation habit. It's just being still, stilling the body and allowing the mind to naturally come to a place of stillness through that. And what you might notice as your meditation deepens is that little movements, whether it's swallowing or maybe a little shuffle, these physical movements do have a psychological corollary. They have a psychological representation in the mind. And so if we're bringing the mind to a natural place of rest, we can very much do that by keeping the body really still. Now, this doesn't mean that we ought to sit through pain or any kind of extreme discomfort. If there is extreme discomfort, then this may well be a signal from the body telling us that it needs our attention. And so therefore the mind is not going to be able to come to a place of rest if there is this warning signal flashing in the body. At the same time, some of these minor little discomforts are actually there because they've been conditioned and they are not necessarily meaningful or indicative of something being dangerously wrong with the body. A good example of this might be a little itch or something. What you might notice over time is that if you just sit with the urge to scratch an itch, but don't actually do it, unless it's really desperate, right? No need to force yourself through something that's just absolute torture. But what you will notice is that over time, as you train this ability and stop trying to push away mind discomforts, that actually the discomforts themselves tend to decrease in frequency and severity. And over time, itches will rarely, if ever, be a problem during meditation, as an example. And actually this tendency to push things away, this aversion, very much comes from this sense of separation that we have from the world. And in training our minds to not push things away, to not resist and bat away those unpleasant, painful feelings, this very much translates into other areas of life. We stop pushing away ideas, we stop pushing away certain people, and physical pain as well. We can experience it, but it no longer bothers us in quite the same way as before. Don't worry if any of this sounds a little bit daunting. I assure you it's not. This is, again, just to reiterate, this is not about grimacing and gritting your way through endless and inordinate amounts of pain. It's absolutely not about that. That would be an ego pursuit. That would be sort of trying to attach ourselves to an idea of strength or something like that. No, this is very much about gradually training the mind in a way that is very achievable to the mind if we do it consistently with dedicated practice over time. So I hope that's been useful to you. Again, well done for completing day 2, and I will see you here tomorrow for day 3 of this 10-day meditation series.